your Seaside Band. Good morning, everybody. How are you? All right, good, yeah, okay. All right, well, I am glad that you are here. You guys look so beautiful and so radiant. This morning, we're gonna start off by calling over the light, which is Kay Samuelson. She is a practitioner here at Seaside. She'll be holding in that consciousness, really anchoring in that spirit that is always here. So this is Kay Samuelson. You can give her a round of applause. All right. So Seaside is a thriving community. There's always something happening here. And these are a few things that you may want to keep into your Google calendars or your actual physical calendars, and here they are. June 23rd, we have the Science of Mind editor, will be speaking at Seaside. So Reverend Dr. David S. Goldberg will be sharing with us his talk titled Love is Always Healing at both the 9 a.m. and the 11 a.m. service, and that's on June 23rd. We also have teen camp, so support the teens in their bake sale that start today. They will be raising funds to attend Buckhorn Camp with 300 other conscious teens. So when you go into the family room, you'll see that Cooper's out there. He's selling brownies, and they're gluten-free, and they're really yummy. They're good. So go ahead, purchase yours, and all the funds go to supporting them in their teen camp. Sunday ushers, the greeter lead is needed for first service, so please see Robert Furby to sign up. Is he still here? He should be around. If not, there is a table in the family room, and take the lead. So Deep Sound Meditation is back with Summer Mondays, sharing their pure sound for deeper healing and meditation at 6:30 p.m. through the summer until August 12th. And the Men's Breakfast Club meet every third Saturday of the month at 8 a.m. for a hearty breakfast and a lively discussion of an article from the current Science of Mind. This month's discussion is on the June issue of page 24. And if you are new and you are a guy looking for a spiritual brotherhood, sign up in the family room. There's of course more information in your Inside Seaside. Thank you, Mara, for providing that every single Sunday. It's all there if you need more, and of course, come speak to us in the family room afterwards. And Gourmets for God. So today's the last day that you get to sign up for the Gourmets for God. If you want to be a part of the only men, right? The men's poker, you can sign up for that, and I think we're also, I think Reverend Christian is also up for the bid. You can actually purchase our minister, but you can have lunch with him. The bid is happening, and the last day is today. So make sure that you get into the family room and you place your bid. Also, on Friday, do you guys know what's happening this Friday? Yes, thank you. Hello, Lisa Nichols is coming this Friday, and it's amazing that she's going to be here because she's spoken all over the world to over 60 million people, and she will be here at 7 p.m. for your general tickets. If you want to purchase your tickets, you can see Kay, who will not be holding the light at that point. After service, she will be selling tickets in the family room, so we have a little sneak peek just for you.
Right. We try to protect and hide too much. We try to defend and protect too much. We live in proving. So first thing I get them to do is what are you hiding, protecting, proving, or defending? Let's identify that. Now, what's the distance between that and where you want to be? And then the rest is, are you willing to do something you've never done before? Most people don't. They want to have a grander life, a more exciting life, doing exactly what they were doing. See, my grandmother said that conviction and comfort don't live in the same block. If you're going to be convicted about something, you might have to go through some discomfort. But if you want to stay comfortable, why don't you just relax where you are, because that's where you're going to stay. Right. And so are you willing to reinvent who you are? Are you willing to kill away the procrastination? Are you willing to kill away the excuses, the blame game? I never let people call me a single mom by my title. I'm Lisa Nichols, who happens to be a single mother. Don't define me by my circumstances. Define me by my intention. So it's just really being willing. Most change will happen here first. Right. And if you don't change there, you can win the lotto and still end up broke, because you're going to slingshot back to your mental comfort zone.
Most people do.
Yes.
Right.
We try to protect and hide.
So that is Lisa Nichols, and if you are ready to get out of your comfort zone, if you are ready to level up on your abundance, if you are ready to do things you have never done and be someone that you have always known you are, to actually step into that, purchase your tickets in the family room. There are books on sale in the gift store. You can purchase your book. Just know that the reception, the book signing, will only happen during VIP. So if you're ready to make this step, if you're ready and willing to take this next lead into your life, go ahead and purchase your ticket in the family room today. And so with all that being said, we may now stand and greet our neighbors.
We've done before, and it's a bit of a call and response, okay? So I'm gonna say a part, and then when I say I choose joy, you also say I choose joy. Here we go. When the walls come tumbling down, I choose joy. When the world stops
You're sounding good. Rebecca, we've missed you. Welcome back to
Missed you
Sunday
too.
mornings.
Thank you.
Hey, were you out gigging yesterday?
I was. I played the Hollywood Bowl last
The Hollywood
night.
Bowl.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It was pretty incredible.
Man, I grew up going there as a kid.
So
And there
cool.
you were on stage. Look
Yeah,
at that. Well, I'll bet that was. Very nice. Was it like a big festival or something?
It was the Playboy Jazz Festival.
Woo!
Yeah.
I won't ask what you were wearing. Well, keep that.
Bunny ears. Hello.
We'll stop there. Anyway, hey, welcome back. How fun. We're just so, just love where you're going. Hey, good morning, Seaside. Woo, what a joy it is to be with you on this fun and summer day. The sun is out finally on a Sunday morning. Oh, yeah, that's a good thing. So welcome to Seaside. Wherever you are in your spiritual path, know that you are welcomed here. We continue to be a loving, open, affirming community. We care. We do our best to not have judgment. We practice kindness, and we just recognize we're all on our spiritual paths, and it's a joy to be able to do that with you. So we continue to inspire ourselves on Sunday mornings, and feel free to take out your phone and check in. Let your friends know where you are. We've got some great music. Got my favorite singer soloing artist here today in the name of Rebecca Jade. And so let everybody know she is about to sing. But right now we're about to take it to a deeper level in consciousness with a wonderful practitioner, David Jankowskis. Take us there.
Good morning, Seaside. So please join me in the silence. There is only one God, one Spirit, one ever-present substance in which we live, move, and have our being. That Spirit is right here. It is that quiet place that you're sitting with right now. It is perfect. It is omnipresent. It is omniscient. God is love. And love has no desire other than to bless all alike and to express itself through all. Those are very, very powerful words. Sit with those words today. It's love that sits with us, that's around us, that is the musicians that we hear, the songs that are sung, the message brought forth. It is all good. So I give great, great thanks for knowing that truth, knowing this truth for myself and for each and every one here. Have a blessed Sunday.
Breathe in, let the power of love fulfill you. Breathe out, let the troubles of life be gone. Release all the worries you have for tomorrow. Look within, let's begin as one. Breathe in, let the power of love fulfill you. Breathe out, let the troubles of life be gone. Release all the worries you have for tomorrow. Look within, let's begin as one.
Thank you, Practitioner David Young-Hoskis, for praying us in so beautifully, and our always famous, who just sang at the Hollywood Bowl, Rebecca Jade, for singing us in so beautifully. Good morning. I'm Reverend Christina Tillotson, and it's my honor to especially extend a welcome to you if you're here for the first time. This is a loving community that truly embraces all paths. And how many of you came to graduation last week? All right, do you feel the energy? If you're here for the first time, you might feel a lot of energy here because we had 59 spiritual practitioners graduate, 31 of them from the online program. And we also had 2 ministers graduate, and it's a wonderful celebration of all of Centers for Spiritual Living. We had about 30 ministers here from all of Centers for Spiritual Living in Southern California, and we're all part of Centers for Spiritual Living. That's a worldwide organization based in Golden, Colorado, whose vision is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence for a world that works for everyone. So if you can align with that, you are in the right place. And on your way out in the back or in the side, we have a special packet for you if you're new, with a CD and gift certificates for the bookstore and all kinds of information about who we are and what we believe. So please take advantage of that. And again, thank you so much for being here. Dr. Christian's talking about the healing power of surrender today. So the reading I've chosen is from Dr. Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of our philosophy, faith, and way of life. It's called The Bible in Light of Spiritual Philosophy. And he says, the great master and example teacher Jesus said, "Seek first the realm of heaven, and all else will be added." He said, this is the teaching of Moses. God is one. We are to love this one with all our heart and all our soul and all our might. That is, we are to completely surrender ourselves to the realization of the unity of good, the presence of God. We are to trust this God and rely solely on God's presence in every experience. We are to sense this presence so completely that the heart will respond and the emotions acquiesce. Without such an emotional agreement, words are empty, ideas void of real meaning. Emerson tells us that when the divine moment comes, we are to leave everything else and flee into its loving embrace. So let's go into that place of surrendering to that loving embrace of spirit, letting go of everything else. Just acknowledging that power and that presence and that light and that wisdom of spirit throughout all of its creation. It doesn't matter what it's called. It can be Adonai. It can be the force, the Tao, God, spirit, Snookum Doodles, doesn't matter what it's called. It's that power and that presence throughout all of its creation that continually creates out of itself, from the tiniest atom to the farthest galaxy, every second of every sacred day. And that is who I am, and each one here and each one coming in through on the internet is. Expression of that light and that love and that power and that wisdom of spirit right here and right now in human form. And so I'm knowing for this sacred time together that this is a time of releasing. This is a time of surrendering. This is a time of absolutely falling into that presence of spirit, surrendering into that light and that love of spirit that is through and as each one here, and allowing that presence of spirit to be revealed ever more through each one, transcending any issues, any challenges, any stresses, and just being as one. And I'm so grateful for knowing the truth of this oneness as I release this word to the law, knowing that it is now done in perfect oneness and love and surrender. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning, Seaside. All right, we're gonna do a song for you. And this song is a song actually about music, which to me, you know, music is one of the many ways that we get to communicate with God, I think, or how God communicates with us, through music, because everybody loves music, right? So there's a song by an incredible artist everybody also knows because he's also amazing. His name is Stevie Wonder, and we're going to do a song for you by Stevie Wonder. I hope you like it. Come on. Yeah. You know this song? Y'all heard this one before? Oh, yeah. Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand, with an equal opportunity for all to sing, dance, and clap their hands. Hey, just because a record has a groove, don't make it in the groove. You can tell right away, let's say, when the people start to move. They can feel it all over. They can feel it all over, people. They can feel it all over. They can feel it all over, people. Yeah. Music knows it isn't always will be one of the things that life just won't quit. But here are some of music's pioneers that time will not allow us to forget. Now, 'cause it's Bessie Miller, Satchmo, and the king of all Duke. With a voice like Ella's ringing out, there's no way the band can lose. You can feel it all over. You can feel it all over, people. You can feel it all over. You can feel it all over, people. Yeah. Come on, Bob. Give it up for Bob and our Seaside Band. You can feel it all over. You can feel it all over, people. Yeah. You can feel it all over. Yeah. You can feel it all over, people. Sing it again, y'all. You can feel it all over. You can feel it all over, people. Yeah. You can feel it all over. Yeah. You can feel it all over, people. Ba-da-dum, 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 ba-da-dum.
Hey! Woo!
Thank you.
That is our very own Rebecca Jane. Woo! Back in the house.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I can't get enough of you. That's for sure. How fun. Boy, the flashbacks to the starlight on Sunset Boulevard. Can't tell you about that. But anyway, So what we've been doing this year is we have committed to taking a look at healing in our life and in our world and the various aspects. And healing has been the thrust of religious science since our conception. Ernest Holmes believed that we must demonstrate these principles. We must be the masterful manifestors of this truth in our life. Otherwise, it's a bunch of words, it's great ideas, but it's about applying it that makes a difference. And one of the keys to doing that, I believe, is in surrendering and letting go to Spirit. And it's tough to let go and surrender to Spirit if you have a bad concept of God. Now, I believe we have a pretty good perspective of God within our philosophy, but there are some religions that don't think so highly of God, or they think very highly of God, but not of themselves, like they're no better than the worm of the dust and wrathful and in trouble. And it's like, I wouldn't want to surrender to that kind of concept of God. Not if he's going to get pissed at me. No way, But the God of love and trust, and there's a beauty and abundance and a joy and a balance and a well-being and an order. There's just this equal expression of the divine available at all places. And count me in for that, and I can surrender to a higher power and a higher wisdom that believes that I am part of its expression and its creation. And so as we learn to surrender to that power, then we can begin to experience the healings and the transformations, the new awarenesses within our life and in our world. But sometimes that goes tough. And it's not newly tough. There's a Chinese philosopher by the name of Fo Chu. 1,200 years ago, he wrote a poem about riding a horse out in the wilderness and getting lost riding this horse, and anxiety setting in and trying to go this way. Then he made him go that way, and then he made him go that way, and then he made him go this way, and he exhausted himself with the worry and the anxiety to the point where he just kind of began to nod off in the saddle. He would fall asleep, and as he fell asleep, kind of loosened up on the reins. As he loosened up on the reins, the horse kind of took the lead. And when Fo Chu came to, or he woke up, he thought it was only a moment, but he realized it had been a long time. And the horse went ahead and found his way home, no problem. And that's the battle that we have going on between our will and our spirit or our soul. There's a mind that wants to control, and when it's lost. It's a good time to let go to a higher intelligence and an infinite wisdom. But what happens is we don't so often want to let go. And so one of the things I've come to recognize in the spiritual practice is when we want to move closer to God, it doesn't happen through trying harder, but surrendering more. Surrendering my minded position and becoming mindful in that practice. It was Anne Morrow Lindbergh who said, when you completely surrender to the moment when it's passing, living becomes richer in every one of those moments. When you can surrender to the moment, to the experience, to the life, something that is going on, you begin to become more available to that. You begin to be that place where Spirit knows itself. And you came into this world with a gift to give. You came into this world with a passion and something, and you've got to surrender all the trying to make things happen, which can be good fodder. It can be good. It could be good to get you going to start with, but you have to let that something emerge from the depths of your being. You came into this world not to stay alive, but to stay in aliveness. You got that difference? It's not about staying alive. It's about staying in aliveness. And it's playing from your heart. It's playing from that dharma. It's playing from that inner place that you begin to be in the aliveness, which is in the moment in which you get to surrender and begin to experience more of that Spirit. And when that Spirit is moving through you, healing is happening because it's purging out anything unlike itself. You're finding strength. You're finding courage. You're finding a conviction that, hey, I do have something to bring to the party. I have got something here. But I've got to quiet down a little bit enough to be able to trust and to hear, because Spirit speaks. And when you're available to that presence, anything can trigger a higher realization. When you're able to surrender to the moment, all of a sudden you're walking along the beach and the sun catches a piece of sea glass, and that sparkle reveals the truth to you in a deeper way that your mind didn't get, but it was a total body experience. Or the bird sings and all of a sudden opens up a passage of awareness of what is possible. Or you're quiet and you begin to hear the wind speaking through those old trees that begin to reveal a wisdom in your soul. Lao Tzu, he said, when you quiet the mind, the whole universe surrenders. You quiet the mind, it's not you who surrenders, it's the whole universe is speaking to you through the trees, through a piece of broken glass, on the beach, the birds that are singing. All of a sudden, I become that place where I become more alive. All of a sudden, I begin to recognize that what's going on in my life become my stories and my passages, like all the locks or the tumblers on a lock line up, and boom, there's a click and it just easily opens that it has been locked all along. But I've got to recognize it comes to me through my life. See, that's where I get my stuff, is my life, and you get your realizations through your life when you're able to pause long enough to hear the story that's behind the story, right? Everybody's got their story. But like mythology is the story behind the story, and it becomes mythical in proportion as it moves through time. And, if this was class, I'd have you do this, but here's an assignment for you to do, to take home, is I want you to sit with some of your stories that impacted you, and recognize what story is behind that story that is one that lines up those tumblers in a lock, that opens the door, that allows your soul to speak in a way that has depth and significance. What are those landmark moments in your life that just profoundly shifted your awareness because you surrendered into something more than what was happening there? You follow what I'm saying? So the assignment is to find somebody to share one or two of those landmark moments in your life, that if you surrendered your preconceived notions or the minded position of it, you begin to see there is something deeper here that is for me that just maybe wouldn't have been if I had not been available to it. Like maybe when you were a kid, there's one, and the grandma or grandpa just said how wonderful you did that show, or something magnificent about you, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, I am hot stuff, And maybe grandma said it, but that's the truth. I can stand up on the stage and do something. Maybe it was a time you fell and you got back up stronger, and all of a sudden you were able to step in life. What is that deeper meaning that is behind the story if you let go of the position and saying, hey, this is the story of what's going on? Like the story here at Seaside, which was really a landmark, seminal moment, is that day we went to court to get this property. We went into the courtroom, a bankruptcy courtroom, and people were lined up and they were bidding like crazy for this property. City stood up and said, hey, $1 million cash offer, got it now, quick close, no contingencies, we'll take it. And the courtroom got quiet, and Seaside hadn't bid anything at that point, and so stood up at that point, and since I hadn't spoken yet, said, hey, what would it take to beat that, Judge? And they said, and we went ahead, and they gave it to us, the bid. And so that's the story. But what was behind that story is what became present within the heart and the soul of this community. It was more important than having the cash, was having a vision. And somehow when you have a vision that you're courageous enough to stand up with, all the ways and the means will line up to do that. What are those landmark moments if you were to let go of just the top of the story and open up? I can remember when Callie and I, when Trevor's godparents came to our house, and he's a couple years old, and they came in and they were all nervous, and they, as godparents, felt they wanted to share with us that Trevor's behavior for a 2-year-old wasn't quite typical as to what they've seen since they work with kids. Callie and I kind of knew that it wasn't quite up to speed at that point. But it was in that moment that our life shifted, because we knew that we were entering into a parenting that we had never had expected, and that parenting would never quite look like we had ever dreamed about parenting is. What are those moments in your life? I can remember another one when my mom was making her transition. We were up there the day she was doing that, and she was kind of in and out, from the other side. And I can remember sitting down before she closed her eyes for the last time and talking. She was coherent a little bit. I said, Mom, you've been out there. Have you seen anything unusual? Like on the other side, all those stories you've been telling me about, anything going on out there, like that? And she said, I don't know. But she then looked at me and said, what is the best is what is this. And she looked at me with a love that transcended dimensions, that was more than lifetimes. All that mattered to her was in that moment. She was looking in my eyes, and I got that it didn't matter what else was out there. What was this going on in this moment was the greatest experience that she could have spent lifetimes getting to, as she looked into her kids' eyes for like one of the last times. And what I got out of that was the power of that love that will be with me through lifetimes. See, behind the story is another story that if we take the time to sit with it and surrender to that, we begin to see those things that have shaped our life and our world. And it's in that shaping that we can begin to take a look and see what else do I want to do with this. And it doesn't matter if you're 100 or if you're 10, that spirit. See, the main teaching of religious science that Ernest Holmes continues to bring us back to is that there is only one. So if there seems like there's a sense of separation, or I can't do this, or the error is perceived itself as the real experience, what we want to do is to reinterpret what is going on. We want to identify, if you would, with the realization that God is in and through all things. This is where it's all about. This is the metaphysical teaching, the New Thought teaching, the teaching of religious science, is that God is one and all and everywhere and everything. And when we're in the midst of our story, if I could surrender my position, silence my mind, the whole universe wants to surrender with insights that are relevant to my soul's journey with what is possible. But I've got to give up my erroneous thinking, my misidentification, and reinterpret what is going on from this position of error and say, you know what, there's something else here. I may not be seeing it, but I've got to give up my position to know that if God is all things, then it's right here. And then healing begins to happen. The greater good tends to show up. I've just recently had an experience I shared with you before about birds fighting over the last of the bird seed. Well, we've now got a hummingbird feeder. We've got the hummingbird feeder out, and this week, they came down to the last little drops, and the birds are fighting over the last little drops of sugar water in the hummingbird feeder. And it's like, guys, stop fighting. Stop picking on each other. I got more, honest. I've got more sugar in the house. It's okay. Just wait a minute. I got to go in. I got to boil it up. Do you really have to boil that stuff? Yeah? Oh, okay. I'm glad I'm following the directions then, because I was getting lazy. But if that's what I got to do, I will do. But, that's what I want us to understand is, we don't need to fight for scarcity or for our discomfort or our pain. What I want us to know is that there's a lot more of that good where that came from, and that I've got to begin to trust that. I've got to begin to believe that. I've got to know that and let go of the erroneous thinking. What happens, though, is some of those misperceptions or those past experiences begin to line themselves up for us, to create blinders and blinds and walls, and maybe they served us at one time, but it comes to a point where I got to surrender that. Any of those who remember like the rocket ship from the 60s and the 70s, the big long rocket that had like the scaffolding holding it up, and it had all the boosters, and it took a lot of encasement of the fuel to get these big rockets off the gravitational pull of our planet and through our atmosphere out into space. But at a certain point, if you remember, like the scaffolding falls away, and a minute or two into space, the canisters begin to fall away, and it jettisons itself, and so all that is left is the capsule floating off into space. All those previous things were necessary to get that rocket up and off, but at some point they had to be let go of. Well, in our life, we have built those blind spots and those assumptions and those perspectives and all those things that may have been like the scaffolding that have held us in place. We have had our stories that we haven't taken to a deeper level. We have got what has happened to us, and all of a sudden, we get to the point where we have to jettison and let those things fall away, surrender them so our soul can move unencumbered through the different dimensions of expression in this world and consciousness. But we have to surrender those things that at one time may have been necessary in our life. We don't have to make it wrong, but for us to go out and to move beyond, we have to be willing to become available. And so as we do that, we begin to free ourselves from the hypnotic trance, if you would. Those errors in our life become so real that we think this is the truth, that what is going on that is not right in my world, I've just got to somehow deal with it. I got to pray maybe to eliminate that. And an error is that we get caught up in thinking that this thing is real, and I got to pray to get rid of this ache, this pain, this situation, this person. And what happens is the errors kind of creep into our life in a natural kind of way that we don't even really recognize them first coming in. It's like a leaky faucet, drip, 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 and somebody comes in and says, "Man, your faucet's running." It's like, no, it's not. Well, what happened is slowly by little, it began to establish itself. Like gas prices, they raise it on $1 overnight, we'd scream. But what it does is a few cents, and next thing we know, it's $1.50 more. It's how the errors show up in our life. The pain begins to creep in. I put up with a little pain in the back, and all of a sudden now I'm praying to get rid of this, and I'm fighting this. But this is the hypnotic trance that's saying this pain in the back is real. It doesn't show up and says, "Hey, Christian, I'm really going to mess you up," or "I'm in error." It's like you see this diamond ring. It's just sitting there. Anybody around? Nobody around. I wait. It's like, it's pretty nice. You pick it up, slip it in your pocket, and there you go. Never does it show up and say, "Hey, Christian, you're going to go steal a diamond ring." It doesn't, easy to catch. That is erroneous behavior here. It slips in with this hypnotic trance. You guys ever watch a hypnotist on stage? They try to hypnotize the whole audience, and they figure out which ones don't go under. These guys go under really good. So they call these guys up and they line up the stage. They put this lineup into a deep state, and maybe 2 or 3 of them are gone, man. So they keep those up there and they work with this, and they take the one who goes the most receptive and go abracadabra. You now see this white poodle. Nobody else sees a white poodle, but they see a white poodle. And they see a white poodle, and he says, "Now this white poodle's getting away." And the poodle starts running around the stage, and this person starts running around the stage trying to catch this little white poodle that has gotten away. Now imagine if this person reached out to the audience and asked a spiritual practitioner, "Would you pray for me to catch this white poodle?" Yeah, that's like the most ridiculous. There is no white poodle. Well, that's what it's like when you go to a spiritual practitioner and say, "Would you pray for my bad back?" They don't see a white poodle, and they don't see a bad back. They're not caught up in the erroneous thinking. They're not caught up in the scarcity. You're the one who has to surrender those images of erroneous thinking, which are out picturing in your human condition. Don't deny that. You got pain, you got to deal with that. But what is happening is these individuals are beginning to see, or not beginning, are continuing to see your wholeness, the spiritual truth of who you are. Make sense? Because that's kind of simple but deep. We're caught up in this hypnotic trance, and our pain and our scarcity and our difficulty is like that white poodle. But the spiritual practitioner is one who is not praying for the bad back or the poodle. You're the one who's got to let that go. You're the one who's got to surrender that position, that scaffolding, or whatever it is you've created. You've got to quiet the mind, and you begin to recognize that the universe and it's wholly surrendering everything to you. And in that, you get to choose again. You get to reinterpret. You get to rightly identify, if you would, what it is. It's like Jesus when he went to the pools of Bethesda. There's a guy who'd been lying in his bed by those pools for decades. At least this is the story, I think, from the 5th chapter of John. And And Jesus said, and we've talked about this story before, it's not a new one, it's like thousands of years old. But, he says to the guy who's been in his bed, paralyzed for 3 decades, you want to be healed? It's like, really? You got to ask me that? It's like, isn't it kind of obvious? Well, no, it's not quite obvious because he's got himself surrounded by people who see him in the sickbed, who's known him in the sickbed, who supports him in the sickbed, brings him the food in the sickbed. He has got the surroundings and the accoutrements that say, hey, I'm a paralyzed guy in a sickbed for decades. So when he says, hey, are you ready to be healed here? Are you ready to have this shift? Are you ready to jettison and leave it all behind? Are you ready to surrender your position? I need to know you're in this game. You got to be willing to surrender that identity that is going on. You want healing in your life, you have got to be willing to let it go and come up with a deeper story of that story. That story may be what you've been telling, and this is my interpretation, my experience of the story, but I'm moving to a new story. And that new story looks like a healing that will happen. It may not be a healing like you wanted it to happen, but all of a sudden, I didn't want my mom to go, but you know what? The love that she said was more important than anything else out there, man, that was good. If you're willing to say, okay, I'm open to the deeper story of what is next, then the transformation is available. Then the ability, I've got to expand my consciousness, if you would. Isaiah, one of the favorite quotes, or one of the ones I like this season, it's 54th chapter. He says, you have to expand the place of your tent. Got to stretch open the windows. You've got to make long the cord. You got to strengthen the stakes and prepare a place for God. That's what you got to do. Okay, I've been operating with this story and this place. Served me, hasn't served me, but you know what? It's time for me to surrender what I've been holding on to and expand my consciousness so there's more space for God to emerge with a deeper realization of my story, with a deeper place for which Spirit can show up. If I want to experience healing, something's got to shift. I've got to begin to be willing to let go where I was and open up to what's next and be courageous enough to claim it, proclaim it, and state it out there. There was a lady who used to sell pretzels, I don't know, it was New York or somewhere. It was a long time ago because they were only a quarter. She had her little stand with a little box out there, and for a quarter you get a pretzel. And a guy, well-dressed young man, every day would walk by and he'd throw a quarter in her basket or box or whatever and keep on going. He never took a pretzel. That was just his thing. He'd put in there. And one day, he came walking by, and he threw his quarter in there, and as he walked on, the lady said, hey, wait. He turned around and said, yeah, I know. You want to know why I always give you a quarter and take a pretzel? He said, no, I don't. I want you to know the pretzels are now 50 cents. Yeah. You got to be willing to expand and be open to a new kind of story. And as you do, you begin to see in a new kind of way. You're open to the creativity. Julia Cameron, who says the power of creation is surrender and not control. I've got to be that place in which the whole universe reveals itself. I've got to be that place where I'm willing to do something different. Rumi, the wonderful Persian Sufi mystic, said that try something different. Surrender. And when you surrender, you enter into a current. Like a fish found a current in the stream or the river. It's like, wow, it's no longer fighting. It's moving along. That's what happens when we enter into that current and that flow of life. All of a sudden, you can't make grace happen, but you can begin to do your spiritual work. And when grace is available, you enter into that. It touches down. It reveals itself. You begin to see in a way that you had never seen before. You know in a way in which you've never known. Walt Whitman talked about you don't need to know things second or third hand or from the dead man or even from me or take from me, but rather you can know yourself. And as you come to experience the presence As I started here today, God and a loving God, a caring, compassion, expressive, that which created all things, supports its creation kind of things. Things begin to be a little brighter. You begin to see that sea glass glistening with the truth. You begin to hear the whisper of those old trees in the woods. You begin to remember the deeper meaning of grandma or grandpa saying, "Atta boy, way to do it. I knew you were the best," kind of thing. And when you see in a new way the shift that takes place in you, you can never go back to how it was. You will have surrendered your old way for the emergence of a deeper, greater way. And there's a wonderful YouTube, I think we saw the last piece of this one once, but we'll watch maybe a couple minutes of it.
You might, but some people see the effect right away.
Oh, it's different. It's different. It's different. Yeah.
All these guys have been colorblind.
Oh my God, it's different. Here.
Okay.
It's different.
Turn around and look at the lights.
Oh my God.
This is seeing color for the first time.
Oh my God.
All of these that are coming.
What colors you see?
Those?
You see colors now?
Oh my God, is this the real world? Is this actually what it looks like?
I am colorblind.
Try so that you'll see how
It's so clear, I can't believe it. Savannah, what are we doing today?
Let's wrap that up, Mark. So if you're ready to see a little brighter world, see things in a new kind of way, it's time to jettison and surrender those things that have supported you, but be able to trust that spirit, that there's something so much more and deeper waiting for you. Just need to be in partnership with the infinite. God bless us as we surrender to the divine. Hey, let's keep it going for our very own Rebecca Jade, on the piano even.
So, first of all, thank you very much for making me cry before I have to sing. I don't
Yeah,
appreciate that. Secondly, don't let this deceive you. I'm not an actual piano player, but we're all works in progress, right? And we try to expand ourselves. And so I took this as a challenge to learn a song that I did for this speaking engagement that I did a couple months back. And it was such a beautiful song that was requested by the main presenter person that I said, this is perfect for Seaside. So when Reverend Christian let me book myself here, I wanted to do this song for you all today. And it's a really beautiful tune and just ties in, I think, perfectly with your message today. And it's a song by India Ari. It's called I Am Light. I am
soul inside is all light. I am light. I am light. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. 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 Thank you.
That was beautiful. Wow. James Von Prague did his 5-day workshop. He ended the whole seminar after 5 days with that song. So good call, good choice. Anyway, this is the time of our service where we have the opportunity to unite together in our givingness and the sharing of our love and our offering. And as we give, it comes back. But that's not why we do it. It's rather that is how it works, this law of circulation. As you continue to expand your expression, what happens is you'll find that God expression expanding in your life. As you continue to put Spirit first through your actions, what you'll find is all the actions that are needed in your life looks like Spirit showing up first. And so it is your relationship through your actions. It's not your words. It is through your actions that demonstrate and manifest in our life. So I invite you to look within your heart and to take your gift from that place of love and caring and joy. And I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward at this time and say thank you to this wonderful crew. And thank you those who mail in your contributions when you cannot be here on a Sunday. It is greatly appreciated, as well as those that participate in our auto tithe, that regular systematic support from your world into Seaside's. It makes a profound difference for Seaside's operation, but also in our life, we begin to set ourselves up to be the regular recipients of that wonderful flow that comes from an infinite, inexhaustible reservoir that is not based upon seasons or times or clients or anything. It is truly a consistent flow that shows up in our life. And so I invite you to listen to your heart and say yes from that place. And with that going on for you, let's share together these words of abundant affirmation, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. And I'm going to add some prayerful thoughts to that with a sense of joy being used by Spirit in this moment. I know that truly this community begins to be that wonderful conduit through which the wonderful abundant flow of God moves. Standing with great gratitude in front of a generous community, knowing that we are about supporting Spirit's vision that is far greater than any particular, but rather it is the vision of the collective that continues to find support as it moves through time and space, bringing forth these words of comfort and security that we give with a sense of joy and find ourselves to be the wonderful recipients of that ever-expanding good. And so it is. Amen. Your guys from Seaside right there. Fabulous job as always. And so I stand before this bounty and I can feel the love and the blessings and the grace of God that has moved through each and every one of us, for we have become that wonderful conduit of God's abundant flow, that we have tapped into the infinite and become that place where Spirit is touched down, bringing with the good, the grace, the joy, and the glory of God as it has just graced our world. And so with joy we give, and in this givingness it is received with the joy, it is handled in good stewardship, and it's returned back into that wonderful flow of life. I say thank you, Father, Mother, God, for being that place in which the abundant flow brings security and peace and well-being in our choices, and so it is. Amen. All right. Hey, this is Edwin Robinson. He's your past board president for the last couple years. And men's group this Saturday morning, right? Getting together. All right. What time? 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock, men? The 25? 7:30. Okay, that's it. 25, 30 guys get together, have breakfast, talk spirit, an article from the Science Mind magazine. So, Rebecca, what a joy to have you back in the house. My goodness. From the stage of the Hollywood Bowl to Seaside. How blessed we are, and what wonderful choices you chose for us today. We love you, and just we miss you when you're not here, but so excited about what you're up to. So, all right. Yes. And Dr. Christina, congratulations on your wonderful, successful graduation of 31 practitioners. Online practitioners, but a total of 59, right? Oh, that is impressive. That is great work for our movement. Thank you for that, and thank you for your Sunday morning. Giving us sound today is Ed. Thank you very much. Giving us visuals is Marv. Thank you very much. And behind the cameras is the wonderful camera crew, and in the sound booth, they're doing the editing. And you guys at home, we know you're there. Thank you for your love, your support, for your emails that you send in, your contributions you send in, your prayer requests you send in, for the chatting that goes on while we're chatting here. They're not allowed to talk as I'm talking, but you can. So I read occasionally what you're up to and saying, and so just thank you for enjoying the gifts that we just so lovingly love to send out from the world. So, hey, take a look at the Sunday program, see what is going on. The big news is Friday night, Lisa Nichols is going to be here at Seaside. The date has finally arrived. We have been excited. We have been planning. There's a wonderful VIP reception. I think there's a few tickets left for that, but she's going to give a little private talk. She's going to sign books out there. You've got preferred seating and preferred parking. But if those are sold out, I know we still have general admission tickets. So pick one up, pick two up. It's going to be a wonderful experience. She has, since she's been to Seaside, spoken to over 30 million people, she says. She has definitely turned into one of the top requested inspirational speakers, and just known for her coaching and empowering people. So she's come a long way since The Secret and Oprah and Steve Harvey, and she'll be here. So plan to be part of that. That's going on. Also, Cooper, did you guys going to camp this year? Yeah, you want to tell us a bit about what's up here? This is Coop, and a phenomenal golfer for sure. I heard you were in a tournament like last week in Arizona or something, right? How'd you shoot? Did you break 90? Did you break into the 80s, huh? Did you go lower than 80? Oh, man. Yeah, I've never been below 100, so you're way ahead of me. So I know high school's already recruiting this guy to play on their golf team, so it's pretty exciting.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cooper Hambrick, and I'm part of the teen group here at Seaside. Taking place on July 13th to the 20th is a CSL Teen Camp in Idlewild, California. This is definitely the most life-transforming experience ever, and it allows teens to prosper in unimaginable ways. After service, I encourage you to go into the back room or the family room and get some brownies or some red velvet cupcakes. And also, the cost per teen is $520, so we also accept full sponsorships, and that would be greatly appreciated.
All right,
Thank you.
That's good. Partial sponsorships may help too, yeah. So But I like that thinking, and the full boat. So anyway, there's a lot going on. We've got deep sound meditation going on here in on Monday night, so for the summer. So also, Gourmets for God. This is the last Sunday in which you get to sign up. And those the meal places are filling up, or they're all filled. So now you got to outbid who's ever in there before you. And aren't you looking cute? You are so excited, huh? You don't have any hands. Maybe I should hold this.
I'm going to everything. I'm going to the high tea at Aviera.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to go to the wine and tapas.
But you don't drink.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go anyway because it's super fun.
Okay.
And I'm going to play ping pong, and I'm going to bid on you.
Me? All right. There's a private lunch with me. Here, this is yours. You can hold that now.
How am I going to do it?
I don't know. My hands are full too. Yeah.
Okay, look, there's a men's poker. I'm going to the crab cookout thing. The the 4th of July, and the baseball game.
Oh yeah.
You're going to be at the baseball
I'm going to the baseball game too.
The Ferris Bueller's Day Off on Thursday. We're going to play hooky and go with Christian to the Padre game. So
All right. That sounds good.
And what else? Oh.
Yeah.
And then Ron Finch is doing this thing, and guess what? Rebecca's going to be there, and it's the Arabian
I'm going to
Nights
be
thing.
there too.
Oh, it's the Arabian Nights, and you got to check it out. This is the last day, so get your bidding number. Oh, look at this. I'm going to the spa. That's right.
All right. What about this red, white, and blue thing?
Oh, well, Sonny and Mike have, every year they do the 4th of July fireworks in Oceanside, and it's just an old-fashioned 4th of July thing. You got to go. And I'll see you guys at the booth.
And so the bidding stops in what, about an hour? But 1 o'clock or so is about, you're done taking. So by this afternoon, they'll know if they got it. So today's the day. You're going to call them next week. All right.
I think that's everything. Yeah.
That's it. Hey, you want your wine glass back for when you do partake? Your tea at Aviara and your bid for me. What are we up to? A private lunch with Christian is. Oh man, that's all.
Yeah, we'll get up
Man. All right. So I'll do that. How fun we're having. Yeah. See. Anybody want to share anything? All right. Come on. What do you want to be? What do you want to say?
So today we did yoga. We watched a video of an ant and an apple and a girl and another lady, and we were doing some of these poses, and the ant wished to go to outer space, and one of his apples fell. That was like his home, and the girl saw it, and she thought it was a very good gift for her dad, and then she rung it for his ship to space where the ant wanted to go. And the ant was like he was really happy that he got to go to space.
The ant that went to space. We're talking about consciousness. That's fun. Hey, let's say together our affirmation. We see you, we love you, and we support you in your magnificence. So let us pray together right now. Healing, as I started this morning's conversation, is the thrust of our movement. It is about being those masterful manifestors and creating with the power of the word in our life. So I invite any of our religious science practitioners that are present here today to stand and all of us to feel this upliftment of the divine energy, that light, that life, and come to the recognition of that power and that presence of God. For truly God is that love, that all-knowing, infinite intelligence that guides the universe. Feel the beautiful touch of God here in this moment and know that with that touch comes the greater unifying with that infinite. Knowing that there is only one, and that one is God, and that is the truth of our being. I come to recognize and to feel and to sense the magnificence of that which I am, that which knows how to come into greater alignment with the wholeness and the totality of being. As I unify with that very life of my being, the life that created all things, I begin to let go of my my concerns or anxiety or questions. I begin to become more receptive for that divine touch that moves in this moment, that brings with it all that is necessary to live a life that is fulfilling and rich and whole and perfect. I step forth with a sense of confidence in this world, knowing that I'm in a body that supports this soul's purpose, that I find the courageousness to bring forth the creativity that resides within, that moves from the infinite. For I know that each and every one of us is that divine vortex with a divine download that brings into our personal life that which is enriches and brings joy and fulfillment. That truly we find ourselves in relationships that are rewarding and dynamic and honest and empowering, a place in which there's an intimacy and an honesty and an integrity is expressed. They're the laboratories of the soul's greater expression. And I know right now it continues to be the place where Spirit is revealed at an ever deeper experience. Just as all of our life, we find ourselves in that relational experience with, and that each experience begins to be that place that reveals the kingdom of God in an ever greater way, bringing us the awareness of the story behind the story that becomes that landmark moment in our life that allows us to open up to the greater possibilities of that divine flow that brings with it the abundance and the ease and the grace and the joy of being. For I stand here today looking out upon one of those monumental moments for Seaside, the realization that the power of the vision brings with it all that is necessary to fulfill and to manifest it. That the power of the vision is far greater than the fears of lack and limitation, and it begins to be a reflection for all of our lives, where we come to a greater conscious connection with that infinite source, knowing that we are that conduit for God to have its way. So letting go of that which was once necessary but no longer relevant within our lives, we begin to jettison into the greater expression of the soul, free from the past constraints, opening up to a greater healing, a greater flow of good, a greater expression of love, and all the positivity that brings to our life's experience. Bringing that not only to our community at Seaside that continues to grow and to thrive, knowing prayer requests are answered now, but also we contribute to this beautiful county of San Diego, knowing that our collective consciousness makes an impress upon this nation for the love and the peace and the higher expression to be able to walk with a sense of well-being and peace and in balance with this earth, knowing that we are making a difference upon this planet in which we share with our brothers and sisters across this globe. For there's something that is going on this day, and the story that has been brings a new relevance and a new significance, bringing forth the new story of humanity. So grateful to be a participant in its creation at this time, of God made manifest in all things, letting go of the illusions, the hypnotic trances of a sense of scarcity or separation from the infinite. I return to that sense of oneness with the totality of the infinite itself, knowing all is well in my life, in the world in which I walk. I say thank you. Thank you for the words that they're shared, that they're manifesting in life through all places, for there is the equality of all expressions of life that are honored by the wonderful expression of God's support. So I let go to this, and I trust this, and just know Spirit has its way in this moment, bringing its radiance in a new way for all to see. I can see the new color and light of life, and so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was ahead. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. So no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I Uh-huh. That's right. Beautiful. So no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah.
And our affirmation for the week is life loves to support me. Together, life loves to support me. Touch your heart like it's your truth. Life loves to support me. One more time, like it is your truth. Life loves to support me. And our song of grace.
I'm living in peace. I'm living my life for what I believe. Through joys and through fears, in this world I walk. God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love, we're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor all truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. 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 Have a wonderful Sunday, Seaside.